Very long, did it? Here we are again. Another day, another dollar. Time for the next World Cup qualification campaign. And many people forget, because that World Cup in Qatar took place in sort of November, December time, as of right now, we're only 3 years away from a World Cup again, because it's going to be taking place in the summer of 2026. We now know the details of the next FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign for African nations. We also know that the qualification match day 1 will be in November this year, November 12, 2023. So this November we'll have 2 match days actually of the opening World Cup qualifying game. So very quick we can rectify the Gassama Gate bleeder, whatever you want to call it. Put that behind us now. New stadiums, whatever, Baraki, the stadium in Oran. It is a new era for Algerian football. It's a fresh slate. It's a new World Cup. The road to America, Mexico and Canada starts right here. Even the logo's a bit crap, I'll be honest. We've got to make amends. And the good news is that Africa will have not 5, but 9 and potentially 10 places at this tournament. The World Cup has expanded to 48 teams from 32. It will be 12 groups of 4 teams at the tournament. And the best 8 third place teams will also advance, as well as the top 2 from each group. So the World Cup will have a group stage, a last 32, then a last 16, then quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, etc. So pretty much, let's say Algeria qualify, for example, gives Algeria another game and another winnable game at the very least. So easily, if Algeria make this tournament, inshallah, at least 4 or 5 games and a FIFA World Cup could be on the table. So let's talk about the actual qualification campaign itself. We've had usually a group stage and then playoffs, or a playoff and then a group stage. The playoffs have been scrapped. There are no playoffs as such. We'll come to why there is a little bit of playoffs at the end, but that playoff has been scrapped. Remember, we had our group, for example, with Burkina, with Niger, with Djibouti. We had to win that to get to a playoff. Now, if you win the group, that's it. Khalas, finito, c'est fini, completo. You're there, you're done. You're at the World Cup if you win the group. Now, the difference is there's 9 groups of 6 teams. So instead of 6 group stage matches, there are now going to be a whopping 10 group phase matches. So in this qualification campaign, whatever group Algeria are put in, they'll be put in with 5 other teams. They'll have to play everyone home and away. They'll have to top a 6-team group to make it to the tournament. Now, I know you're thinking that sounds a bit daunting, but consider there's 9 groups. There's going to be 9 teams in pot 1. So the other 8 strongest teams in Africa, assuming Algeria are in pot 1, will be avoided. So pretty much win every home game, don't lose on the road, and you're pretty much there. So this draw for these groups is going to take place on July the 12th. And of course, inshallah, we'll cover that on this channel. So look, very soon we've got 2 months until the draw for this, and then just a few months until match days 1 and 2. So this, guys, is not as far as people think. The team you're going to see playing in this World Cup qualifying will actually be sooner than the AFCON. The AFCON in January is actually after the World Cup qualifiers begin. So this is actually the first hurdle to deal with. And we're going to have a couple of World Cup qualifiers in November. Then it's December. Then it's AFCON in January. So no more messing about. The clock is ticking. The team needs building. So 9 groups, which means 9 group winners to the tournament. Let's look at some examples. So if Algeria were based on the current pots, we are in pot 1. You look at the easy ones. You could get, with respect, I say easy. I don't think there's any easy games these days in Africa. Look at like the likes of having, you know, Uganda, Lesotho, Somalia, Niger, Madagascar, all in the same group. Yes, any away day is tricky, but you'd certainly fancy topping a group like that, or a group similar to that, to reach a tournament. On the flip side, and we know draws don't often go Algeria's way, there's going to be a bit of an overlap between the bottom of pot 1 and the start of pot 2 is where the surprises will lie. So if Algeria do get a Ghana or a Burkina or a South Africa, that could be a potential slip up, a potential banana skin there. Got to be careful not to fall over. And you can also have, like, for example, look at that tough one, Ghana, Togo, Angola. You do not want to fall into a group like that, because all of a sudden it becomes very, very difficult. Now, if somehow Algeria didn't win their group, which, to be quite honest, if we don't deserve to go to the bloody tournament with this expansion, there is a lifeline. The top 4 second place teams will compete for the chance to be the 10th team from Africa at the World Cup. So the 4 best, so 4 out of 9 teams that come second, have still got a chance, which I think is quite fair. So they'll do a little tournament. They'll do 2 semi-finals and a final. The winner of that still doesn't go. They have to go and play a playoff against another federation. So it might be a game against, for example, Syria or El Salvador from another confederation to then book their place. So quite a complicated tournament, but if we somehow bottled it and come second, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean Algeria wouldn't qualify. There is a lifeline. Personally, I think it's good. You've got 54 teams, no preliminary playoffs. Everyone gets the chance. Whether you're Somalia, South Sudan, you can go to the World Cup. You can play this group stage game. No playoffs, which gets rid of the lesser teams at the beginning. No playoffs, which gets rid of the big teams at the end. CAF have organised this structure in a way where they want their best teams going. They don't want to see, for example, Algeria, Egypt, Nigeria, Ivory Coast not going to a tournament, because that's not good for CAF. It makes Africa look bad. This structure ensures that 7, 8 groups out of 9 are bang on going to have the best team going through based on the pots. So CAF get their best teams at the tournament. I just think a couple of groups are going to have a real shot. With Ghana in pot 2 as it stands, of course the draw is in, 2 months, July 12th. There's a round of AFCON qualifiers to happen, which could influence the pots, particularly the pot 1, pot 2 boundary. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be tough for a Ghana to get to a World Cup, even with this, because Ghana will be paired, as it stands, with a pot 1 side, whether that be Algeria, Morocco, Cameroon, whatever. One of those is going to have to miss out unless they go through as a second place team. So be interesting to see how it pans out. It's all brand new. Remember, Africa first of all had only just 2 spots at the World Cup. Now they could potentially have 10. Of course, they did have 6 when South Africa hosted it. Here we've got 9 guaranteed plus 1, so potentially 10 African sides at the tournament, at an expanded tournament. So July 12th, save the date, the draw for the tournament. When the pots are confirmed, we'll have a closer look at who Algeria could get. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on this World Cup qualifying structure as the path to America, Mexico and Canada begins right here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. I'll see you next time.